The reason you keep finding another layer to heal is simple, because you haven't reached the first one yet. Maybe you have worked on your childhood, your relationships, your parents, ancestral patterns, previous lifetimes, and still something is there. So much shadow work, but maybe it's a sadness you cannot really explain, a feeling that no one can completely meet you, a longing for home, even though you don't know where that home is, or this strange feeling that something is missing and you don't even know what you're looking for. I have seen this again and again in my work, and at a certain point I started asking a different question. What if not everything we carry started in childhood, or in this lifetime, or in earthly lifetimes? What if something of what we experience goes back much, much further to the journey of the soul itself? And this is where we come to what I call the primordial wound. So what's a primordial wound? When we think about trauma, we normally think about something that happened to us, but the primordial wound is different. It's not one event that happened when you were 3 or 10 or 20. For me, it goes back to the very beginning of the soul's journey through creation, to the movement from unity into separation, from the formless into form, from being part of something vast into experiencing yourself as separate. And imagine what that means. Before form, there are no edges in the way we experience them here. There is no physical body saying, I end here and you begin there. Then consciousness enters form, and suddenly there is separation, there is distance and time, and there is loss. There is the experience of me and you, and somewhere in that enormous journey, the soul begins to carry memory, memory of unity, memory of separation, memory of what was lost. And this is what I mean when I speak about the primordial wound. It's a wound that exists underneath our personal story, underneath our soul story, and we can experience it here in our lifetimes. And this may sound very cosmic, and in a way it is, but what interests me is how something so ancient can still express itself in a very ordinary human life. You can see it in relationships. You desperately want someone to meet you completely, and even when somebody loves you, there can still be this feeling it's not enough. You can see it in the search for the twin flame, in the longing for the divine masculine or feminine. And you can see it in people who have spent years searching for their purpose, or people who have traveled everywhere and still have this strange feeling of wanting to go home. Home to where? Sometimes there isn't an answer. And that's precisely what makes this layer so interesting. Because perhaps what you're looking for is not a place. Perhaps the longing itself carries a memory. I don't believe that every problem we have needs a cosmic explanation. If something happened in childhood, we need to look at childhood. If there's a problem in a relationship, we need to look at the relationship. But sometimes you have done all that, and something remains. And that is where I became interested in going deeper, not only asking what happened to me, but what does my soul remember? And this is important. Healing the primordial wound is not about trying to go back. It's not about escaping the body or this world so that we can return to some perfect state before form. For me, it is almost the opposite. Can I remember unity here? Can I carry that original light into a human body? Can I stop looking for another person to give me the wholeness that I am trying to remember? Can the soul finally feel safe enough to be fully here? And this is where the primordial wound becomes very, very real, because then we are no longer talking about something abstract. We are talking about how you live, how you love, how you choose, how you live in your body, how you relate to separation, how you relate to loss, and whether some part of you is still searching for something outside of yourself that can only truly be remembered within. I want to leave you with something very simple. Just look at your own life. Is there a longing in you that you have never really been able to explain? Is there something you keep searching for through relationships, spirituality, purpose, achievement, or healing? Have you ever felt homesick without knowing what you're homesick for? And after everything you have already healed, is there still something underneath? If there is, don't immediately try to get rid of it. Become curious about it. Because perhaps that longing is not telling you that something needs healing. Perhaps it's pointing you somewhere. And perhaps the question is no longer only, what happened to me? But what happened before the story of me even began? That is where we are going. And if you want to continue with me, subscribe to the channel and visit my website, enlightenmentcodes.com. And if you feel that you want to explore your own primordial wound more deeply, you'll find information about my private sessions and Venus Light technology below. I am Sabrina Dinito, founder of Enlightenment Codes, and I'll see you in the next episode.